Okay. So what are we seeing here? It's a lot of pictures.
It's a lot of pictures. So yeah, it's not that fancy graphics project. It's in fact only about pictures. The museum, it's a Jewish museum in Berlin, and they are collecting stuff from families over time, and they wanted to have a way to show these collections, and that's what we are seeing here. So this is kind of the idle state of a huge touchscreen where you can enter as multiple persons, and you can just, do you see the mouse here? The idea is that you can of course you can grab some stuff and flick it around, or you open or you click something and then you can just inspect it. You can also do this pinch to zoom stuff and yeah, have some looks.
And so how big is the touch screen in meters or centimeters, or
the screens, or what?
Yeah, the whole projection surface. I mean, what we're seeing here now, the window, everything looks quite tiny. So I assume like it's really quite big.
It's 12 times full HD. So this is like 3 screens height and 4 screens wide. Like, yeah, I can. Oh no, this is was for. Yeah, it's a huge screen. It's a huge resolution. The resolution is 3 times 4K, and I'm playing all this with 60 Hertz in this resolution. That was kind of one of the challenges.
And it's all running from a single computer, or you're sharing the?
Yeah, it's a single computer.
Okay.
Oh, and somehow my computer stopped.
Yes, it's all in
Zoom. Maybe Zoom will
Yeah, Zoom is
Zoom is
interfering with
Stride, killing all our computers. But it's
okay,
back now.
just. Then what was one of the reasons was why we wanted to use Stride is these animation stuff here. This is a single page animation we prepared in Cinema, and then we attach these these animations based on the information that's coming from the database to the entities we see here.
Can you make it a bigger or zoom in somehow, or is it not easy to? Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then I cannot click. Maybe I can enable a debug helper here. Here's the click point.
So you have one kind of book animation prefab, and you just exchange the textures and always reuse the same animation.
Yeah, there are several animations. So for example, we have like 4 different types of book pages, 4 different type of shades and stuff like that. And also there's like image stacks, like this is one. This is an image stack playing. Yeah, there's different animation stuff in there.
It's like at the beginning it looks really simple and innocent, and then once you start going in, you get all these really nice touches. That's quite nice. So
yeah, I also like that you can have multiple in parallel. That looks quite cool. So I imagine there could be like 3 people.
Exactly, it's designed for 4 people. Like, and if there is smaller persons like children or wheelchair drivers, they are reaching this lower area, and the normal person has this on her eyesight.
And the very tall person has the whole top row for him.
And there is stuff like what I think is quite funny is that you have this actual size button, and if you press this one, then everything is scaled like it really is. For example, you have this matchbox here, and if I press original size, then it scales down to the size what it really is. that was also kind of a pain to program.
To calibrate everything.
But yeah, and you need a database with all the sizes or somehow.
Yeah, not a database, but imagine like now this is one quad where all this image lies on top. And if you start scaling it, now the quad scales in X, but only in X. Now the quad scaling stops and you scale the texture coordinates only. So it's a...
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's a two-level scaling. Basically.
Yeah, and you have to calculate where you have to stop scaling the quad, in which dimension, and if you're scaling the quad, you have to inverse scale the texture coordinates, and so on, and maintain the aspect ratios while doing this. So that sounded easy, and I said, okay, I can implement this, but it was kind of a pain at the end.
Like otherwise, you would have to use some really expensive masking for each quad, so it could just scale up.
Yeah, and this is not yet. This is like the predecessor of VL.Stride, and there is not that great off-screen rendering in there. That would maybe have been a possibility to make an off-screen renderer for this whole area here. Yeah. What's maybe funny for you, and because you said it before, that the whole thing is like multi-touch, and I made this note here, this input manager, because I'm receiving 2U points from a touch frame, and that's why I made this system here, where I first set up a system that you can simulate pointers, and in that system I insert pointers that are coming from UDP. They are getting kind of stabilized and then inserted into the whole system, and that gives you you see here, this is a point, now this tiny circle here, and if you click, it's a pink point, and then I made some test program for me to stress test this whole thing. It's like continuously 40 nervous fingers doing stuff on there.
It's attack of a school class.
Yeah, they are going wide.
That's quite funny. And the sort of like repelling physics and all that's custom, or you're using some library for those?
Yeah, there is a 2D particle system behind, and it's Nathan's particle. It's CPU particles. And the only thing I had to invent here is that I wanted to have it running in a thread. And that's why I used some concurrent classes. It's a concurrent dictionary that's holding the information of the items, so that I can access this dictionary from 2 threads and manage them.
And it runs just fine.
Yeah, this is
No,
this is kind of my debug visualization. The particle system just sees these circles and pushes these circles around. And at some point, when the other system, the main system, decides that the point has to die or find another position, then you see it with these lines that if an item dies, it searches for a new free place and then whoop, travels over there.
And there's like about 100 of images floating around at one point?
Yeah, it's roughly 120, but the system always stabilizes at around 120. Yeah, so it can happen that they now some disappeared to make room for these ones, and the logic of these smaller ones that are surrounding the opened ones are always from the same collection. So you see this has a color, because this is a certain family, and all of the surrounded ones are also from the same family, so that you can browse the collection.
a bit deeper on one topic, so it's not completely random. So there is a way to kind of like continue. If you go one direction, you then explore further. But in the like the first entry is random. There's like no way to search for a particular entry in the collection.
Exactly. The only thing is that if you click one item, then this belongs to a certain collection, and all the others that are popping up, they are called satellites in my system. All these satellites also belong to this family, so that you can, if you stay here and only click the surrounding ones, then you see the whole family at a given time.
Yeah, that's a really nice approach to kind of get you deeper. And what kind of database system are you using? Is it just files or some SQLite database, or something like you're drawing from some server, or what is that?
Yeah, the museum said they don't want to have a CMS because they had bad experience with that. And I said, okay, but then let's use something that you can maintain. And we came up with that Excel table.
Nice. So
what's maybe a nice addition, I also made then a tool for them, which is here compiled as Excel.
And in the Excel, it just like points to file names of the pictures, or just like some ID of the individual pictures, and it just has the same file name in one place. That's how it loads the files.
Like one collection consists of such a folder where it has like all the items. And it has this Excel table, and in the Excel table is all the texts and all the file names correspond to the ID and everything in there.
Nice.
And in this tool here, you can select each. So like each drop down is an Excel table, and then you can select an item, and then you can preview how the text would look like in the installation.
And the language switching is like per image or like per whole installation, and it's switched for people.
No,
I guess it's per image, right? So so someone can have it in German, someone can have it in English.
That's this button in this corner.
Yeah. Nice.
German, English. Yeah, nowadays I would make this different. I would paint the skier directly into it. It would have been really nice. But so I made this workaround and painted the skier in a texture and loaded all these textures.
Right.
It's a big preloading thing, and preloading all the stuff takes like 1 to 2 minutes. Because it's all in total, it's like 5,000 images, and all these images are like 2048 by 2048.
But I think that in the end you do get better performance with like pre-cached textures like this, like having a separate skier renderer for each open thing might end up like in you needing to do this anyways. But it's like quite a cool thing.
But I think the quality would be a bit crisper.
I was also about to say that if it's a lot of text and a lot of skier rendering, you probably wouldn't keep the 60 FPS. If there's 8 open.
Maybe. Yeah, but
I think in the end you would have cached them as well.
In maximum, it's like 8 texts.
Yeah. You need to test that probably.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much text. Yeah. It needs testing in the next one.
Is this something you already use the rich text in?
No.
Or no. This is just simple text.
I made my own rich text thing in here. Where is it? like you could do stuff in here. How can I demonstrate it?
So, some sort of markdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but this is made by hand. This is parsed and made by hand. And the rich text would have been really nice in here.
So, and this was probably more work than wrapping the library.
It was, yeah. Yeah, like the screenshot I showed yesterday, like it took me like 1 hour, and making all this like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. But I'm sure you learned something in the process.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe to do it with rich text next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. I leave you.
Cool, thank you.
Very, very cool. Very, very polished. I really love the way it kind of like goes like more and more complex in the interactions. but starts like it's like, you know, the first time you see it is just like these, you know, floating pictures, like, okay, no big deal. But then you know, it starts popping out, and you have all these really nice touches, and the animations are super nicely integrated as well.
Yeah, it's a very subtle project. So it's not like graphics, boom, boom, boom. But that also was kind of the difficulty, because it's the client and the whole surrounding. It's about family heritage. It's not a thing where you want to have like, fancy, shiny graphics. It's like, it's about the stories behind. It's about the texts.
About the content, but I think you did a really good job with the, and I guess that was the whole studio's work, or was it just you working on it?
It was mainly me working on it. At the beginning, one colleague helped programming, and he dived into this animation stuff and fiddled around, made all the cinema stuff, like defining animations and inserting them as assets in the game studio and playing around with that. But at some point, I took over the whole programming stuff.
So in these animations, that's basically Stride prefabs. You have for like an asset of the animation, and then you load it in.
Yes.
And use that.
Exactly. I have one mesh. It's just a quad, a tessellated quad. And this mesh has this is important from cinema, and there is one skeleton for this mesh, and then there is around, I don't know, 24 animations that play with this mesh and the skeleton. And then in the game studio, you make a dictionary and insert all these animations onto that prefab. And then when you're programming, you can access this dictionary and say, okay, take this animation with this name from the dictionary with this key, and play it, and then play it forward and some stuff we want. So
you have like multiple animations for page turning, and you randomize them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice. And you said you also have another project kind of in an earlier stage now coming up?
Yes, but this is not showable at the moment.
Okay. But yeah, very impressive. And like as you're saying, it's subtle, but I think it's like extremely fits the Papa. But it really fits the environment, I think, of the museum, and it's really polished. Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay. Nathan, have you been experimenting some bits with it?
Not yet, actually.
Not yet. It's about to come.
Starting now. Is Debian still around? No. Ah, yeah. Because I need to.
Yeah, I'm on my phone today. I don't have a laptop.
Okay.
You have everything in your brain.
Exactly. Let's pick the relevant stuff.
I hope so.
No,
but it
because
gets less and less the longer I'm away from the laptop.
Basically, yeah, I'm about to start a new Marshmallow Laserfish project. And for that, I want to start building a particle system library, a GPU particle system library for Stride. So I'm also talking with Kyle, actually, because I'd like to find a unified architecture that somehow allow us to build libraries that share GPU resources or whatever in an easy and friendly way. So they're really connectable. And so, yeah, I'm kind of now I started to install Stride, and I was trying to have my repository with, and being able to write my shaders. So that's the whole point. And Tavian suggested to clone the repository, right, Tavian?
Yes.
The VL.Stride repository.
Yeah, if you have early access, you should have access to the GitHub. And there you can clone the repository locally.
I did.
And then you can get the latest 2022 from our build server. And there you...
It is the Gamma Stride build, right?
No, it's the 2022 from the normal Gamma.
VV-Gamma, okay.
So the 2022 version of VV-Gamma is the same one that we use in the Gamma Stride build.
Okay. Because I was checking the README. It was saying that you're using 2022 0217 is the version in the directory build props file. It says that the PL version that you're using is that one, but I can't find it in TeamCity. I don't know, maybe.
If you go TeamCity VV-Gamma, and there should be just build branches. Yeah, just take the latest, 48. Oh no, this is Gamma Stride, right? You want to go to VV-Gamma without Stride.
If I go there,
and then
the last one is 202, right?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay, so it's wrong.
Can you click on branches up there, all branches? And there should be the 2022.
There is, maybe I don't have access.
Yes, there's 217, which should be a bit newer.
Do you see my screen?
That's the one.
No, I'm sharing mine, but if you want to share, it's maybe gonna be easier.
I could share my.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just kind of following your footsteps.
Okay, sorry.
No, that was correct.
So let me share.
I just kind of missed what exactly are you trying to?
I'm trying to basically clone my repository, the Stride repository, so that I can add shader there, and then via Gamma just use my local Stride version, so that I can simply continue to build shaders using my local repository.
Yeah, you can install this version, the latest one, exactly. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Just.
Right. So
it says 20202. Is it fine?
Oh, it should be 217.
That's what I mean. I don't see that. Is it possible that I don't have access to this?
No, if there's this all branches up there, yeah.
I have 217 here.
And then you go to 2022.
Yeah, there.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then this is the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Do you have the repository already?
I got the repository, yes.
Yeah. So if you install that one, you should be able to just press play.
So I need to open this one, I guess.
Yeah, this one, yeah, exactly. And then in the README it says, I think you'd only have to press play, and the startup arguments should already be. Exactly. Install VV Gamma from TeamCity. That's what you're doing, exactly.
Yeah.
Open the solution, Stride VLN, startup project, and press F. Yeah. So highlight, yeah, that's fine, all good. Then VL.Stride, right click, set as startup. It's in the middle, yeah. And now just press the play button and let's see what happens.
Oh man.
So the only way to currently add shaders is to recompile the like whole of Stride library?
Yes, because we didn't do the runtime shader library yet, but this is currently being worked on.
Okay. Well, something's wrong.
No.
What did the build log say that failed?
Three errors.
Recompile. Reading.
It's telling you to run a NuGet restore.
Yeah, you have to probably do a rebuild or something. If you open the package VL.Stride runtime, I can show you where you place the shaders. There's the effects folder. There, exactly. Yeah. And in there, you can just create a new folder, like with the project name, and then you can place your shader files in there.
Okay, I can use any.
Yeah. And if you have a new one, you need to recompile. But when it's compiled, you can edit it while it's running, and the changes should have effect in the runtime. It's only when you add or remove shaders, then you have to restart.
That's because of the database of the individual files.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. So, no.
Oh, that looks good now. Yeah.
Only one failed now.
Oh, one failed.
Yeah, but it seems it's just some syntax error. Just strange. I just open it.
Yeah, double click.
Huh?
What's that?
Oh, that's a shader. Can you? There's this left and right arrow. That should be very easy to fix. There's this left and right arrow in the file tree to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit higher. higher in the tool bar. Yeah. Yeah, the next one. Yeah, this one. So that's the shader. You press diagonals. Can you double click the shader file?
This one? No,
No, that's
CSS. Okay.
Yeah, this one. So there's some default 111, which is wrong.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Well, it's fine, no? It's float 4.
Can you just write float 4 and normal brackets instead of the curly ones?
That.
And add float 4 and
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be it. Now press play again. Stupid error.
Am I the first guy to do this process?
Yeah. Like, did you not build with it yet?
Could be that you don't have the latest commit. Maybe there have been changes.
I do.
Oh no, that's the latest one on the develop. Oh, looks good. Oh, great. Yeah, works.
Okay, that was simple. Jesus.
And now adding shaders is according to the Stride shader documentation. Like you add the SDSL file, and it will automatically create the shader file and the CS file for it.
Yeah.
And the point of the C# files is to do some like extra composition of the shaders, or?
No, the C# files are
Just
little keys to set shader parameters, so shader inputs. The way Stride handles shaders is it builds like a parameter collection, which represents all the inputs the shader has, so all values that go from CPU to GPU. And with this key file, you have an easy identifier for each input of the shader.
Cool. Well, thanks so much.
Yeah.
I need to run now. It was useful.
Yeah, so you are prepared now.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Let's have a look next week.
Yeah.
What you did.
Yeah, for sure. I will work on it in the next days. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks so much. Speak soon then.
See you.
See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hope to see you here soon.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Ciao.
Bye. Okay. Are there any questions or curiosities from the crowd? It's a very silent crowd. Yeah, I think it's gonna be quite cool when it comes out, and eventually all the. Oh, Hayden has a question. With additions like VXGI, will this be in there too? What is VXGI?
That's Voxel Global.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was very nice actually. I saw the video on the Stride website on that. Seems to work.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we are getting better and better in importing features from the game engine. So we now know better and better how the nodes should look like and how they are easy to use.
Or writing features like the instancing you did.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. And yes, of course, so Voxel GI would make a very nice example patch. And I think it's not that difficult to set up, actually.
Well, in Stride, it's extremely easy, but what you actually have to import.
There's a YouTube video, I think.
Yeah, but it's...
in the release notes or something. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there's the whole documentation page on it.
Yeah.
And in Stride, it's really just adding the dependency and adding it into the compositor pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it does look quite nice. Is it like a similar method to what other engines are using, or is there?
Yeah, I think voxel GI is quite common for a relatively fast and good global illumination.
And is there any plans to support RTX or things like that?
I mean, if someone does a pull request on Stride, it shouldn't be so hard to implement that.
Yeah, but it certainly does add a lot of realism, any kind of GI, and it's fully dynamic, right? So you don't have to.
That's the crazy thing, yeah.
You don't have to pre-bake anything.
Yeah. But you need a good graphics card for that.
So it's not gonna run on mobile.
If you can pre-bake, there is already this other system in Stride, I guess. I think where you place these
probes.
Yeah, you basically place some spheres in your, or some gizmos in your scene. You have to place them evenly so that everything is covered, and then it kind of makes snapshots. It's not dynamic then.
Yeah, like light probes and reflection probes.
Light probes was the name, exactly.
Yeah. But
that should also be interesting too. I mean, with spreads and loops, it should be quite easy to place all the probes everywhere in the scene. And then we have to patch like this process of capturing the light energy everywhere. And then I think it's basically a cube map that you get or something. I don't know. Not sure how it works.
Yeah, I mean, for the reflections, it is something like that. And then I mean, I remember when I was playing with like some source engine games, when you had the like sort of build editor, and you would place these, and then the moment you transferred from one zone to the other, it would just kind of snap the reflection. I don't know if it's a bit smoother here, or it also just changes the moment you enter another. Who knows?
I've never used it.
Yeah, but it's a super efficient way to do reflections that kind of look like they fit, even so they might not. You know, they don't change as you move like 1 meter to the left, but it at least does reflect the environment in general, aesthetically. Okay. Lucas, are you there? No. He's he's a technical artist at Wolfire Games. So I was thinking that maybe he could have some inputs on all this. Yeah.
There was another question. How, also when people make future nuggets for Stride, how will the library be able to keep up with the new additions? So I think one key feature is that it will be open source. So when we release it, you will also have full access to the source code, and everyone can just add whatever they like to the library and make pull requests. Or just clone it locally, make custom additions for one project and use it like that. And if it's big features like global illumination or maybe OpenXR or something like that, of course we will also try to import it as a node set in the for the high-level Stride nodes, of course.
Yeah, thanks.
And maybe there's extra packages. Maybe you can like add stride dot OpenXR as an extra package, and it's maintained by someone else. So of course, like every coder or patcher can make his own package, reference Stride, reference VL.Stride, make their own node set and share that then as a new package. That should also be total valid workflow.
So it can actually, like, it does support this modular workflow where you don't actually need to edit the like Stride core, VL.Stride core library.
No, you don't have to. You can make your own package.
Okay, very nice.
But you still have the ability to do it. If you don't reference the VL.Stride core nuggets, you can reference your local VL.Stride fork, and then that should be also possible.
Devin, like, what's the reception of like VL.Stride in the Stride community? If you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I think many people are quite excited, especially artists, because they basically can use all features of the engine without having to write code and without having to stop whatever scene they are working on. They can just have the scene working and just patch the code that otherwise they would need a coder next to them to tell the coder, oh, can you like code this logic or this lighting or this setup for me so I can test my art. And yeah, in general, there's big interest in that, because I think visual scripting is quite a big thing in most game engines, because I think not everyone is like a computer science student, and to be seriously develop a game, you need like 2 years at least coding experience to be halfway decent. And I think not everyone has that. So I think visual programming is a very big thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what everybody is gonna make with that once it comes out and once it supports everything. Even.
I think it might be good if there would be some, like Takuna did his the demo he did on YouTube, just patching a bit with VL.Stride and showing this to the Stride community would be nice, because there's so many visual patching stuff in Unity and stuff that is not so full-fledged. I think there is still a lack of what is this VL.Stride all about. It's not only patching some.
You're dropping out a bit, but yeah, it's like it has more complete covering of like actual programming concepts rather than just patching shaders or stuff. But do you have any experience with Bolt in Unity? No? Like I haven't tried it either, but it also seems to be quite a powerful tool. Yeah, it's still, I think, not as integrated maybe as this in the workflow. Lucas, do you have any observations from this session?
No, I have not. I have been just like in the background.
Okay.
So I haven't been focusing on this.
It's fine. I will probably I will for sure take the recordings and upload them and put them in the Riot group, but maybe also just put it publicly, because I think it was quite focused and there was a lot of nice things going on. except for the little crash in the middle. But yeah, I think if there's no more questions, then I would wrap it up. I think there was lots of cool things, lots of questions answered by Tebian. Thank you very much for all the insights. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no
Seb.
problem.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Seb, for like giving us a very deep look into the program. And yeah, I guess Excel is a usable production tool. But I mean, yeah, everyone understands Excel, so I guess you use some NuGet for that to just load Excel and read it. So that's something that probably was very easy thanks to Gamma.
At the moment, I'm also making a second version which doesn't use Excel but Google spreadsheets, and that's even nicer because then you have the database online and can be shared, and you can also versionize it.
You can do that with Excel as well, but in general, Google. I mean, the Google services are free, so it's more accessible. So
the funny thing is that the C# API for Microsoft Excel is much worse than the C# API for Google Spreadsheets.
Okay, that's interesting. Do they have like what API is best for like Office 365? Is there some REST APIs or?
At the end, I used a nugget, which kind of wraps it a bit, but it only has like simple functionalities.
Okay. It's funny, but I think it's like, can you actually with the Google Sheets have any sort of offline version? Like you can have offline documents, but I don't think you can really use the API to load from those offline cached documents.
No, but I don't need it because this is I want to patch around this and cache the results. I just want to say, okay, update now from online, and then I cache the result on disk. And if I want to update again, then of course, then you have to be online. But you have to be online then anyway because you want to make a git pull
and some remote management and anything like for installation. Okay, so wish you a lot of luck with putting it up and hope it runs stable and all good.
There's more questions from H.
Okay, where are they? Am I missing? Oh, right. It's like not popping up on the chat.
Yes, dynamic geometry. We have an example patch for that.
I'll just read it so it's in the stream because the chat is. So what's the situation with dynamically created geometry at the moment? Let's do that one.
I think it's quite comfortable. You can use this vertex layout nodes to define what kind of data you have in your mesh. Then you generate the mesh. And then there's a mesh model, which generates a model out of the mesh. And this model can be connected to a model component. And to this component, you can connect materials. So it's relatively straightforward, dynamic meshes.
Yeah, I'm firing up Gamma now. There actually is already a help patch exactly with this approach that Tebian was describing. And yeah, I can share the screen.
But final question, do you think there will come a point Gamma users can contribute to the Stride ecosystem?
They already can.
I hope so. I hope that just people think, okay, we don't have, I don't know, volumetric fog or something, and then people will just implement volumetric fog for Stride, and then we make a nice node set for it, and that benefits everyone. That would be a win-win, of course. Yeah, Dominic, the thing here is you now see that this is just a mesh, so there's dynamic mesh. But if you want to render this with a material, of course, first you have to create normals. But I would just show you the nodes, how you can connect this to the material pipeline. There's this called a mesh model.
Single material.
Probably advanced. There's single material, yeah.
Okay, let's say we have a PVR.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can connect the mesh to this to the dynamic mesh
render or?
No, there's dynamic mesh.
Dynamic mesh, okay.
You have it up there.
Yeah.
So the output of the dynamic mesh goes to the mesh model. Exactly.
And the model?
And the model goes to the model component.
And that just goes on the render entity?
Exactly. And the model component goes to an entity.
No. Yeah, right.
Just an entity.
Okay. So what is the difference between the render entity and the entity? The render entity has like the whole rendering pipeline in it? Or?
No, the render entity is low-level rendering.
Right.
That's you just doing draw calls. It's like DirectX 11. And the entity component system is a scene graph. So press Ctrl+ on the entity.
I don't think this is the right entity.
Should be.
Do you need a from
value? Oh, from value. I think it has only a spread of entities. Sorry.
Right. Okay.
There should be a pin entity components. Yeah. That works as well, yeah.
Base components.
Yeah, that is initial components, but there should also be runtime. Yeah, component.
Okay.
Anyway, now this entity can be rendered.
It actually connects only to the, because there's entity component, there's spread.
What's the type of component?
Oh, no.
What?
This is model component, then I get a spread of model component, and this is spread of entity component.
Oh yeah, that should just force the connection. That should work. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. So our type system has a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, of course, a model component is an entity component.
Yeah. Anyway, so where's my renderer? It's here. And so now I don't have any, like I also
don't have normals now, so it would just be black, but
I also don't have any light, so I will maybe put the ambient light.
Yeah.
And well, we were trying to put in the normals before, and you said right, but now we're not using the mesh renderer, so actually we don't need the special shader for the normals.
No, you don't do custom rendering.
Right, and it's just about the mesh definition, so it can be already using.
Yeah, you can have like position normal or something.
So create position normal text 2, let's say.
But create, there's always a process node for the create as well.
So post.
So you don't need to recreate the vertex definition every frame.
Oh, okay. It's cached, or what is it? Oh, yeah. Very simple. Okay, and now, I mean, it still should kind of work. Just the number maybe.
So now the W component of the vector should be 1. Otherwise you get... Oh no, it should be a vector 3 now.
That's a vector 2, isn't it?
3. What is coming in? Vector 3. Oh. We have random spread. or just repeat. I don't know. So there's, what is it, like vector 3, then normal 3, then text. Okay. Which
Is
one?
there one without texture coordinates? There should be a category of vertex declarations.
Yeah, that's where I was before.
Okay.
Vertex declaration, and there is just pos 3, normal 3, or with tangents, or just with textures.
Okay.
But I think.
Well, you get an idea. I think it takes too long now to.
No, I think I can just like cons. So like do my 3, then 3, then 2. This one I don't really care about. The normals can also be fixed. And this can be a random spread. The 3 split. And spread, float, and flatten this. And spread vector 3. Spread
Force, yeah, force connection.
It will work even when it floats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should.
Yeah.
Oh, you can delete this one.
Which one?
We're using a repeat node at the moment. I think that might be blocking your.
Right. Yeah, this should be a for each. Thanks. Yeah, we're getting a bunch of data. With a normal of just unit X. Oh, should this work? Not.
Can you show the axis and grid in the renderer? Maybe it's something that's very far off everything.
There is a keyboard shortcut for it, right?
Yeah, F4. Oh.
Yep. So we have the dynamic mesh coming in with the data of positions, normals, texture, then position, normal, texture, and so on. It's going into a mesh model. It's also going into 2 places. I can try to restart it, just to see. No. And then it's fed into the components of.
Do we have a light? Yeah.
Yeah, I put an ambient light with 2.5 intensity. Is there, can I do background? Yeah. Now I actually can't move the camera around, which is interesting. But yeah. It's ignoring the camera. Okay, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I had to restart, but still there's nothing from the thing.
Yeah, maybe this random spread doesn't really make sense. I don't know. As a mesh.
So, I mean, probably like a circle spread could
also be that this vertex declaration is not valid for the materials. I don't know.
maybe so I can just pack this patch and send it to you. And
can you make another, not a PBR, because the PBR needs tangents also?
Oh, good point. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
Okay, needs investigation.
I can just but in general you have 2 approaches that you can take when creating dynamic meshes, either a low level when you're actually providing your own shader and rendering it with the low level render entity, or you go the entity component way and you just add it as a model component that is generated from the dynamic mesh.
Could you try one thing, create a sphere mesh and put it instead of the dynamic mesh?
Okay. Yeah, right, just any, like, so this is a default
just to
mesh.
see whether that works.
Yeah,
this
this
works.
works.
Okay.
This works. So there's just
so it's something with the vertex layout or the data we feed in that's not right.
Yeah, and if we don't have normals, it should.
How does the sphere mesh look inside? Is it also patched?
No, that's the Stride one.
Oh, okay.
But if I take this again, maybe just copy this. With the color material, it should work also without normals, no?
Could be. You only have to put 1 as the W, not the float to color. Yeah. This has to be 1.
What is it?
So delete this node and just add 1.
Why is it RGBA to float?
That's packing the color into the W component of the vector.
Okay, it's 1. And nothing.
Okay, so it's probably, you need certain vertex layouts for the materials to pick the meshes up.
Okay, but I'll just clean this up and send it over, so maybe you can.
Yeah, cool.
Find a way. Okay, but this is like this higher level approach is like could be very, very nice, like to do any sorts of like computational transformations on the vertices without geometry shaders or so we can do some really weird things. Yeah,
the thing is, I think the materials also want tangents, and they're not so easy to generate. Yeah, but I think with only normals it should work as well.
But I mean, in theory, it should be possible to just have a node that calculates normals and tangents from just vertices.
From triangles, yes. Oh, maybe here we don't have the indexes. Yeah, we don't have an index buffer in this case currently. I think that's the problem.
So I just have positions, but I actually don't have like how the triangles are composed.
Yeah, it's not an indexed mesh. It's just the topology is not right. I think that's why we don't see anything.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, but there could theoretically be helper nodes that just transform something.
Yeah, this would be another version of this dynamic mesh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Mesh draw. Vertex buffer binding.
Yeah, there we just need to make an index buffer binding and also put it in the mesh, and then it works. I think that's the problem, not the layout. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but
cool. Thanks for debugging it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, but I can see that eventually it will probably be as simple to use as, for instance, Touch Designer when it comes to like deformations of objects and just like really playing around.
Yeah, especially if Nathan comes around with his compute shaders and you do all the transformations on the GPU.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And Kyle, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, like
in
instance.
Cool, I have to go now as well.
Absolutely. But like instance noodles in VL is gonna be quite amazing with the like dynamic nature of VL, where you can really like play around with the structure on the fly of everything. It's very cool. Okay, so thanks everyone once again a lot.
Thanks for hosting.
Welcome.
Thank you and bye bye.
Bye bye.